Welcome to John and Dave TV. I'm John.
And I'm Dave. This show is to bring the community back together. We're going through a very hard time right now with everything, the self-isolation and everything else. And we thought maybe we should bring new skills or new hobbies to you in your home that you're able to do with us.
So make sure you join us on every episode where you can learn something new every time to try and help get you through this whole staying at home situation.
Today on a Dave and John show.
It's the John and Dave show.
Yeah, it started with we made a couple of gowns, and then it went into scrub caps. Yeah, they were asking for scrub caps, so we did those, and then we were asked to do headbands for some nurses, and then people were asking for masks, and then more masks, and then more masks. So it just kind of grew.
All right, welcome to the John and Dave TV. And Dave, I think you're going to like these next guests that we have because you're an ex-military yourself. So a lot of the stuff that they make for the military contracts, and I'm sure you've used either some of their stuff or stuff similar to it from other companies. So I'm pretty sure you're going to be familiar with a lot of stuff that they sell, like Ruck Sac. I know I can't see you running down the street in this big, heavy rucksack and filled with a whole bunch of stuff.
You know what? It's been 10, 11 years since I got out, and I definitely packed on the pounds. So, you know what? I look at these guys running down the street nowadays. Props to them. They're still healthy. I'm totally lost that shape now. There's no way I can keep up with them anymore. But yeah. So who's the guest today?
Well, today we have Cass and Luca. They are the partners of Warrior Gear in Pembroke here, and welcome to the show, Cass and Luca. Thanks for being here.
Welcome.
And why don't you give us like a little brief history about Warrior Gear itself, how it got started, or how you guys got involved with it and things like that.
Yeah, sure.
Well, it all started in 2016 when we came up to Pet. We were working with the original Warrior Gear, John Laporte, the owner there, and we used to subcontract off him for years. So we helped him out in his shop, but then last October in 2017, when they had the big fire, it burnt down everything, John was pretty much like, that's it, I'm done. It's enough. I'm old, I'm going to retire. I've put enough. So we're like, fair enough, but we couldn't let the name die.
Yeah.
So we essentially made a deal with John, said, we're going to carry on with the name. We got a good thing going on. We're just not going to let it stop. So Cass and I then started up Warrior Gear in Pembroke, and we've been picking it up ever since then, and it's just been going
Taking
well.
off since.
Yeah.
Very cool. And is it mostly just the two of you there?
Sorry?
I'm sorry, is it just most of the two of you there, or do you have a staff?
We do. We have a staff of 5 now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a staff of 5. We're trying to keep it right now. We're trying to keep it limited to 4 in the shop. So we're trying to get some of our other people working from home, and whoever has machines at homes can help us out.
Very cool. Very cool. Dave, I know Dave's having some computer problems there, but we'll try and get him in here too.
Yeah, today technology is not working on my end today. Yeah, I've been having camera problems and audio problems and everything else, but it seems to be working fine. Hopefully we can keep going with the show and keep me on. And if not, I guess everyone will be stuck with John, and it'll really be the John TV. John Dave, or might say Dave and John TV. I'm familiar with the company just because I live in Cobden. You know, and I seen the company grow. It's just down the road from where I live in all that, and truly a devastating fire. And it took a lot of the business apart and all that. Like, how hard was it to bring back the business and to move it where it is now, and where is it also?
Well, currently we're in just outside of the downtown area in Pembroke. It was a learning curve to transfer it from one area to another, trying to salvage what we could, replace what we could, and it was just kind of building it up from there.
Mm-hmm.
We went from doing the subcontracting work, so we get one part of a piece, and it's like, here, make me 1,000 of those to help us out. We're like, cool, no problem. Now it's like, okay, here's everything, figure it out.
Yeah.
Did any of you guys have any like sewing background or any stuff like that?
I did not. I was kind of just thrown into it and figured a lot of it out on my own. Of course, Luca has the sewing background, so I would have been lost without his guidance.
Yeah, so I'm a parachute rigger by trade, so a lot of it is sewing work for maintaining parachutes in the systems. So it was an easy conversion to get into the manufacturing kit, because we used to do it all the time back in the day for our buddies at work. Hey, I need this fixed up, I need that. And even with John back 30 years ago when he started off, this whole venture was the same kind of idea, right?
Yeah.
Making kit for his friends at work, and then into the business.
So Warrior Gear, you manufacture military equipment and all that. Do you cater to military contracts, or is it stuff that you manufacture that people can go and purchase, separately outside the military as extra gear? What kind of gear do you manufacture? Who is your main clientele?
It's both. We do get military contracts, and sometimes we get some custom sewing military contracts. But we also do the Ruck Sacs and the valises and pad sets that people can purchase off our website.
We had a whole product line relaunch, if that's what you want to call it. So over the last few months, we've been working on a lot of John's old products and redeveloping them, bringing them into a more current state. We've sourced out all of our suppliers, manufacturers, materials. It was all ready to go. We were ready to launch a new product line, and then the world just
ended.
Yeah, I think we all went through that. That's for sure.
Oh, and the rebuild, we built up so much anticipation on social media, and everyone's like, "Yes, shut up and take my money." And then it's like, we can't sell you anything right now, guys.
Exactly. What a problem to have, though. Shut up and take my money. What a problem to have. But now that brings us in again, like as we are filming this, we are going through still that lockdown quarantining area with the COVID-19. Now it is softening up a bit here in Ontario. I know some companies last week actually started opening up again, retail companies and things. Will that affect you guys? Are you guys going to be allowed to open back up a little bit retail, maybe curbside type stuff?
Well, we've always been allowed to operate because we fall under essential services. We don't operate a storefront. Okay. It's a closed off building. It's only special access or for appointment only. So because of the contract work we were doing for paramedics and other first responders, we didn't fall under the requirement to close. And so it's not so much of a change for operations wise, except for the contingencies we have to put in place for safety now for our employees. But other than that, it's fairly normal operations, except for the circumstances of what we're actually manufacturing is far from normal.
Yeah.
Yes. So that brings us, I guess, into like you did get into when the whole shutdown, people were looking for manufacturers that can help out on the front lines, doing stuff for the frontline workers. And you guys actually did help out a little bit to make masks and stuff like that. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, it started with we made a couple of gowns, and then it went into scrub caps. Yeah, they were asking for scrub caps, so we did those. And then we were asked to do headbands for some nurses, and then people were asking for masks, and then more masks, and then more masks. So it just kind of grew.
So today, like what are you guys doing? Are you guys back still doing essential service equipment, or are you back at doing military gear and that type of stuff, or are you completely shut down?
No, we're still making masks. We're with businesses now opening up. We have had some people ask if we can make some masks for their businesses. So we've actually got quite a bit more.
That's very cool.
We're at a very interesting part of the business development right now with the restrictions in place for safety limitations for employees. We're trying to hire another 2 to 3 sewers in the area. So we're trying to play with the idea of a split shift or shift work so that we can resume our regular operations and manufacturing our actual product line, because the masks are good. We're providing a service to the community that needs it, but we also have to build on to the business that has carried us to this point already. So we're trying to figure out how do we carry on forward and not just focus on the masks and the PPE as well. It's a the service to our regular client base. They've been waiting this whole time for us to place it.
So these masks, are they like, is there like the province put out like some specification, or the medical community put out some specification how it needs to be built, or how did you guys come up with the design for the mask, and how are you guys building them?
A lot of YouTube.
Yeah.
There was a lot of YouTube involved. I think Luca and I sat down all day just sewing different styles of masks and different pleats and what worked best, what was the fastest, and we came up with what we're distributing now.
Yeah.
Do you happen to have any of your masks or something right there in front of you you can show, or no? I know I'm throwing you on the spot now. If you don't have one, don't worry about it. I'm throwing you in the spot there.
I don't think I have any at the house at the moment, but
no, we gave
maybe
them all.
we can actually get we'll get a picture of it and we'll show it when we actually air this. We can actually show it on the screen. That would be awesome, and along with some of your other products, because we talk about COVID, and that's what this whole program's about. But at the same time, you guys do manufacture a lot of other stuff there. So why don't you talk about the actual products that you have, what your top sellers are, and how you go about how you got the contracts for that, and just talk a little bit about the actual products that you do sell.
Well, a lot of the contracts, again, we kind of inherited from John prior to us getting the business. So we do have a lot of those contracts, but we do have all of our products online for military personnel to purchase on their own. Our top sellers right now is the Ruck and Valises. Like, as if we're just talking about single items, the Ruck Sacs and Valises are definitely the biggest sellers.
Yeah, we worked for the last, I think it's been 3 months. We've been developing this new rucksack where it's based off the old 64 pattern and jump ruck style, but we've modified it to incorporate newer aged elements to what people want in a rucksack. So taking the feedback from a lot of people and what they want to see in their bag. And we sent it out into the field. It's being field tested, got a lot of feedback from that. And that's going to be our big push once the world starts getting back to normal a little bit, is pushing the new jump ruck and our carrier systems. So we are developing our chest rigs and our pouches, belt systems.
Yep.
Basically anything you need to operate in the field. That's what we've been redeveloping based off of everyone's feedback over the years.
Yeah. So you get like the say, okay, you got a military contract. Do the people from the military, do they give you sort of guidelines like, this is what we need for our guys out there? Or do you just come up with something and just say, hey guys, can you go try this out and see if it works in the field? Or because you don't want it to fall apart on them when they're in the middle of something.
No, normally they would send us what they want. Like they'll email us. Sometimes they'll just take a bunch of pictures of one they already have, and they just say, we need, I don't know, 1,000 more of these specific bags. And then we have to figure out how to make it and get a prototype ready. And then we go from there.
Yeah, YouTube's a phenomenal thing.
Well, you can't really YouTube a lot of military equipment.
Yeah.
So you're making the whole backpack, or just, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's that lag.
Oh, okay. You're making the whole backpack, or are you making just the frames? I know back in the day we weren't allowed using stuff from the outside, so I'm just thinking of the old Ruck.
So the frames are the original issue from 1964 up until the 80s, right? So the guys are finding them still, and they love the frame. We get them too sometimes from guys find them in their basement. So we only do the actual bag itself. And it's based off of the design of the original issued kit. So a lot of units are authorized to wear it, and no one ever had any issue using that bag, and chains of commands have approved it.
It's one of those things that if it ain't broke, don't fix it type of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, you're still military yourself, Luca, if I'm not mistaken. So how do you balance this out? I mean, you guys have little kids too, I understand. So I mean, between family life, I mean, you're married, you have two kids, you have this business, and then you're on the military too. How do you find a balance to put that all together?
It's not easy.
I've learned that you don't need sleep. It's just caffeine. It's a lot of caffeine.
Yeah. So, are you away on the field a lot?
Not now.
No, yeah, not right now. But no, normally we try to leave work at work and home is at home.
Good.
We don't try to bring work home and home at work.
No, it's in regular situations or when we were before this whole thing kicked off. Basically, my role was, let's say, research and development, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I would work on the designs. I would show Cass and say, okay, here's my idea. We work on a production technique. And then she went with the girls at the shop and said, okay, this is what we need to do.
Yeah, normally he's not at the shop, so it's a big change that now he's there.
Yeah, I know a feeling because my wife and I were a husband-wife team too in my business, but we're like together 24/7, and we still haven't killed each other yet. So I know what it's like. So.
And how many employees do you have? Like I know you're looking for more, but how many do you have?
Right now we have it's hard to say. We have two that are able to work.
Okay.
And again, due to child care restrictions and limited, we have two that are able to come in. So usually we have 5, but that's the ideal situation, right? So we are looking for more to help supplement the loss of employees.
Yeah.
And I saw on Facebook not too long ago, you showed a picture of a nice big warehouse area. I don't know if that's a new space you're looking at expanding or if it's expanding to where you are now. Like, do you want to explain a little bit about that or?
It's the same building. We're just kind of moving it from one spot in the building to another spot in the building because it's a much larger space. We're going to be able to do a lot more, hopefully. We've fast outgrown the space that we rented. Yeah. So.
No, exactly. And I can understand because especially if you're going to need more sewers now, how do you see yourselves when you come out of this? Like you're saying all these people are saying, we want your stuff here, take it. Are you guys going to be crazy busy, do you think? Do you think it's going to be one of those slow processes? It looks busy now, but once it's actually open and then people say, hey, can we do this now? How far do you think you're going to have to expand? Do you think you're going to have to eventually get a new building? Do you think more and more?
It's not a bad problem to have, but right now I think for the first few weeks it's going to be playing catch up on the orders that we have received and haven't been able to fulfill yet. So right now it's going to be playing catch up, and hopefully that once workers get back and the military gets back to work and stuff, it'll pick up and remain busy.
Very cool. And I also noticed on your website, sorry, Dave, I don't know if you went to talk there. We're having a bit of a lag here, but you also have stuff like eyewear too, and different carriers and other different accessories. Do you want to get in a little bit about that kind of stuff? Because do you get a lot of call for that stuff, or is it more just the Ruck Sacs and the valise and things like that?
Well, our bread and butter is the valise. Or is the Ruck Sac and 64 pattern set as a complete, and basically going back to the whole revamp of the product lines. We have our other items on there, but that was our really slow reintroduction now of those products. So we haven't put as much emphasis on those as of yet because of the situation, but we will be getting into our next advancement after the new Ruck Sac is going to be the carrier system. So the pack vest with the pouches and all the options that will go with that, and making it again a user input product. So our main goal is basically, after all these years of hearing people complain about what they didn't like about their kit, that's what we're putting now into the new developments, right? And everything is starting to pick up again, and we're starting to see the silver lining, dedicate more time back to our product line. So it will be coming out soon.
Very cool.
So-
Very cool.
Building military products, it's like it's a really kind of a niche kind of business, only selling to a specific type of people and all that. Do you also venture outside of military products? Do you build, like, let's say, pack sacks for hikers and stuff like that, or?
We have had a few people who have come to us for custom sew jobs for hunting bags. We had somebody who we had given a bag to. They were doing a cross country tour on their motorcycle, so we built them a bag for their motorcycle. So yeah, no, we don't just cater to military. We do have outside contracts come in too.
Very cool. Because I know the glasses on there. I was telling to our director Tiana earlier. I was looking on your website. And I saw the sunglass. I don't think I could afford to buy a pair of sunglasses that you got, because I know they're specialty made for military, things like that. But I lose them. I sit on them. I break them, things like that. And they're kind of a little expensive ones to have just break or just leave somewhere at somebody's house.
That's honestly why we sell them, is because I get a cheaper price for all the ones that I lose. And
The kids will
So-
take them aside.
Exactly. So expanding on what Dave was just asking, like with other people now, I noticed on your website everything, because it's more military oriented, it's all camo and things like that. So have you looked into maybe making it more mainstream in the future, if you can get more sewers, get more and going away from not just the contract work, but more public and doing different colors of backpacks and that for just the general public itself? Because this
Like
is
a
a small
baby
community. I can
elephant
see
pink
people
one,
going
that
for
would
it.
be nice.
it comes down to basically our scale, right? So we are a small manufacturing shop. There's only we've grown now to 5, but before it was just Cass and I, and we got some sewers. So basically, we didn't want to depreciate the integrity of the work we did. So if we went out and made 1,000 different types of products, right, it's the quality being there.
Yeah.
So we wanted to stay within our means and support what we could by still giving a good product.
Definitely.
And then once we scale and we can maintain the same quality and the control that we have at a smaller unit and bring that into a larger scale production, then yeah, definitely we'll be looking at other options.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely quality over quantity, like always.
We don't want to grow too fast and then lose our quality.
Yeah, no, exactly. And like you guys have lives too, and you have family, and then eventually you have to hire more people, and then it's harder to keep that business at business and home at home. So I can understand how you want to keep it low and keep it to where you guys are capable of doing it and still make a good living off of it. So I mean, you're a business; you got to make money.
Exactly. Yeah.
So people can find you how? Website? They can find you Facebook. Like, where are all the places that these people can find you at?
Yeah, no, we have our website, we have our Facebook, we have our Instagram, our phone numbers are up on the not our phone numbers, but the business line up on the website. It's pretty easy to get a hold of us.
Yeah, we're pretty active on the Instagram, Facebook, and
we try to be.
Keep a lot of updates going on there just to keep people informed. Okay, what's going on and where we're sitting right now.
Yeah.
Just because it's easier to get out to the masses instead of individual emails. Okay, here's what's going on right now.
Very cool.
So again, like every single show now, COVID-19, affecting businesses, we all know is going to change the way we operate, change the way business operate. How do you see the changes in your business, and how do you see your business moving along and moving past this?
It's made things really interesting.
Yeah.
Right. We're in a fortunate position where we're still an essential service. There's still a demand for what we supply, and we didn't have to shut our doors down. But now it's at the point, okay, we're getting a lot of business, a lot of revenue from the PPE, selling it to the government, but it's low cost, low yield inventory. So do we carry on with that just to keep the doors open and the lights on, or do we take the shot and go back to our regular production and take the risk associated with that, our supply chains being disrupted and staffing issues due to not being able to come to work? So it's really put things up in the air, and okay, everything we thought we knew about the business,
we didn't.
It means nothing now.
Yeah, it's a day by day kind of thing.
Yeah, and speaking of that, I guess you guys, are you in the position right now, because we're going to wrap it up in a second, but with your workers, when they do come in, do you see them having to wear masks when they're working there for a while? You're going to have to wear gloves. Like I don't know what you normally do when you're there, if they're normally wearing special gloves and that, or.
Well, it's hard. It's hard to wear gloves when you sew because you really need to get the feel of the fabric. You need to know where it's going, or you're going to get a needle through your finger. So yeah, gloves are not really a good thing to have on, but we are big on wash your hands. We have hand sanitizer. I've told the girls to wear masks. So we are, and we're all 6 feet apart. So we're taking the precautions for sure.
Good.
And the new spot we got going on, we got dividers we're going to be putting in between each workstation, and it's going to be a lot better to get more people in and keep the space.
And still
Very cool.
maintaining social distancing.
Good. So you're keeping safe. Your employees are staying safe. You're keeping people employed. You're helping out the frontliners. I mean, I can't see anybody asking anything else of you guys. I mean, I want to thank you for coming on here because I learned a lot, because I only knew you a little bit about for you guys from here and there, but I'm glad we got a chance to talk to you, see more about what you do and where you are. And is there any last words you'd like to say to anybody out there before we wrap this up, or?
No, it's just again, it's great to meet you guys. I've with this whole COVID, I've talked to so many other business owners that I didn't really know them. So it's nice that even though this is happening right now, it's still bringing everybody together.
Exactly. I used to have a full head of hair before COVID started, so.
And I used to have none.
I want to thank you guys for coming. I had a fun time. I know Dave did, and maybe brought some memories for him. But I want to wish you guys nothing but the best and most successful of the future there. And hopefully we can bring you back on here maybe later on in the season when things are back to normal. We're back in the studio. Maybe we'll come and do one right from your actual, back from your actual studio itself there.
Yeah, no, we would love for you to come by and see it.
Perfect.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Thank you,
guys.
guys. for having
Thank
us.
you.